Do you distract yourself from your highest potential? Do you create all kinds of excuses and limitations so that you don't have to be who you came here to be? And what if there was a different way of living? What if you could stay committed to your expansion without shrinking your vibration and limiting your inner light? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sylvia Salow and I help lightworkers and starseeds to remember who they are. And today I want to talk about distractions. Distraction can be your belief, it can be a habit, it can be even a certain emotional state. We all use those distractions to distract ourselves from our true potential. I'll give you a few examples. You can use addictions as a distraction. You can be addicted to too much exercise, to food, to alcohol. You can be addicted to your spiritual practice even. Or you may hold a certain limiting beliefs about yourself to make sure you always bring yourself down, especially when it matters the most. And so distraction is anything that takes you away from your highest path. It's anything that's holding you stay put where you are. It's a default energy that you have practiced so many times that it became familiar and you identified yourself with that distraction. Your sense of identity comes from believing all kinds of things about yourself that are actually not true. And this is the way how we actually identify with our lower self. We use those distractions to limit ourselves, to pull ourselves down, to make ourselves denser. Because when you have those distractions or addictions, you are lowering your vibration. You are using that infinite energy in a very condensed and limited way. And that makes you feel denser. And when you feel denser, you are more relatable to other people. Now you have struggles just like other people. Now you can form relationships in a way that you are fitting in instead of contributing to each other from a sovereign place. When you use distractions to fit in and relate to other people, you are first of all an alien. And secondly, you don't have to use it in this way. But think about it. I truly invite you to look at your life and see your distractions. What are the coping mechanisms, addictions, habits, limiting beliefs that you always fall back into? Likely you don't have all the limiting beliefs in the world, right? You have just a few. What are those? How do you always bring yourself down? And is it possible that you do it unconsciously also because this is your way of proving that you are a normal human being and not an alien and you want to fit in? Is it possible that you want to create this struggle in your life so that you don't have to stand out too much? What is your pattern of distracting yourself from your highest potential? Take a while and really contemplate this. Become aware of it. What happens when things go well in your life and you freak out because it's going too well and too smooth? How do you lower your vibration to pull yourself back into that limited state of consciousness? And how is it working out for you, by the way? Is it actually satisfying you? Is it actually giving you something? Or it just looks like it's giving you this short-term relief and then you feel much worse after? And so now I want to also invite you to think about a way how you are afraid of your light. And now this may be a very controversial thing, because as a light worker, you always think, I just want the light, I am one with light, I want just the light beings to communicate with me. But is it true? Because if you truly chose the light fully and completely and embraced it, you wouldn't keep those distractions in your life. Because if you are too much light, if there's too much of the infinity of your being, then you have to also stop having excuses. You cannot take a break from being conscious anymore. You cannot go back into this old self. And because there are no excuses, it feels like you have responsibility. But this responsibility actually allows you to expand and grow in a different way that feels lighter, but it doesn't seem that way to the ego. And so ultimately, distractions is the fight between the lower and higher self. We don't know how the higher self feels. It's very unfamiliar. We are all used to having lots of challenges and struggles in our lives. And there are some challenges that are just part of your life's purpose and a part of your life's path. And it doesn't matter what you would do, you would still have those. But then there are some challenges that are created by you as a form of distracting yourself from who you are, as a way of limiting yourself. So I want you to consider this. Anytime you go into some kind of default strange belief system or behavior or a habit or some addiction, ask yourself, who am I afraid to become in this situation? And that's why I use this distraction. Because there is some infinite space that you are not claiming. Who are you afraid to become in this moment? What would you be without this distraction? What would you be without this addiction? What would be possible to create in your life without having this limiting belief system? What is it that you are actually afraid of? I want you to truly narrow down what's going on deep inside by asking those questions and becoming aware of that fear or that uncomfortable feeling when there's too much space and you want to make yourself denser. How would it look like if you allowed yourself to embrace that space? How would it feel if you could continue expanding? How would it feel if that expansion was your default? Because in those moments when you procrastinate or you overeat or you drink alcohol or I don't know, you have some limiting beliefs that you bring into your relationship, let's say. In all those moments, there is some potential that's available in your life, but you are not claiming this potential. It's like a window that opens, but you go into the default. You go into that old identity instead. And it is because you don't know how the new reality would feel. And so this is another thing that I invite you to do. And it is to truly visualize and let yourself feel how that reality could look like if you didn't have those distractions in your life. I want you to truly feel it at that body level. I want you to fully step into that new identity so that you can see that it's nothing scary and that it actually can create and generate more in your life. And if you need help with this process, you can find a masterclass on becoming your highest self. There's a specific technique how to do quantum jumping, which does exactly this, becoming that next version of yourself. You can find it below. And it's on my website, so you can get instant access to this. But truly feel and visualize that new self that you are not claiming in that situation. And ask yourself questions. Try to naturally evolve out of it. When you will see that it's not contributing to you having this distraction or this addiction in your life, you will choose not to have it anymore. So there would be those 3 steps. 1, identify that fear, because it's kind of battle between your lower and higher self. There's some kind of fear going on. What are you truly afraid of becoming? The second step would be visualize and feel your next level. So who you are without those distractions. Feel it on that cellular level. And the third step is just ask yourself simple questions. What is it that I truly need instead of, overeating? What nourishment do I lack by not eating enough? What potential I'm not claiming by creating anger in my life? What emptiness I'm trying to stuff in and suppress by drinking alcohol? Just ask yourself simple questions. Just bring that awareness to what's actually happening. And then you can still go and do the thing as you usually do it, but just start bringing that awareness there. Because with time, it will not be so interesting to have that distraction, and you will naturally grow out of it. Also, I invite you to imagine 2 potential timelines. One is if nothing changes. So it means you have all those addictions, distractions, limitations. for the rest of your life. If nothing changes, what kind of life would you have? Are you happy with that? Do you like that vision? If so, then that's fine. You don't have to change anything. And then imagine the second timeline, which is, who would you be if you dropped those limitations, distractions, addictions, limiting habits and beliefs? What would be possible in your life? And imagine that and see which one feels better. And once you have that motivation, once you have that full picture that having those addictions, distractions doesn't lead to anything new, anything good in your life, then it will motivate you to start choosing your higher self instead and occupying more space, stepping more into the embodiment who you came here to be. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I see you next time.